I grew up in a Christian home, and in that Christian home, I experienced love. Grew up in a small church. Love ruled the day, and was very, very fulfilled and very, very happy. But I was a little suspicious because I grew up in Canada, and I didn't know in my school experience. I knew no one who was a Christian like I was, like we thought of as Christians. And so I used to wonder, of all the different religions in the world, including what seemed to be most people around me that was no religion, how would it be that this ideal environment in which I was experiencing growing up, and this is, I'm speaking now as an 11-year-old, 12-year-old, 13-year-old, how could it be that that's the right religion? And so although I was very happy, very fulfilled in the church, in that little church, I was suspicious it was almost too good to be true. And so every now and then I asked questions. I would allow myself to ask questions, and I'd say, I don't know, and would have doubts. I was also very scientifically inclined. And so whenever, for sure, when people talked about biology, I was strongly suspicious in evolution. I was strongly suspicious that it might be right. So as I went off to college, having gone through this period of doubts, wanting very much to be a Christian and being a Christian, relationship with God was everything to me. I just had those little periods where I wasn't so sure, and then I would stop thinking about it. And so when I went off to college, I said, I'm not going to study biology because it raises the doubts, and I don't want to have those doubts. So I was going to study initially chemistry and physics and math or something. Those were my interests anyways. But I did end up deciding I wanted to be a doctor partway through that process, and that meant you did have to take biology whether you liked it or not. And so in taking biology, I fell in love with biology. I didn't want to be a doctor anymore. I really wanted to be a biologist. To begin with, in preparing to be a biologist, I had no real faith crises, much to my surprise. What the issue became as time went by, well, partly I had no faith crises because of the fact that it was so beautiful. I studied, we were just learning about the genetic code in those days. We were just learning about protein synthesis and all the things that happened inside of a cell, and I couldn't believe how beautiful it was, and it seemed to make sense that there must be a God involved in it somehow. And so it didn't really raise as many doubts as I thought it would. However, when I went to graduate school, at that particular point in time, as I went to graduate school, I started increasingly to say, without even realizing it was happening, that I didn't care about faith anymore. I was just so involved in my career, so involved in becoming what I hoped would be a great geneticist.